So anybody that's familiar with driving old Mopars knows that a lot of times the power steering can feel real loose and basically over assisted. Now, at some point in history, somebody in their infinite wisdom just happened to drop a slant six power steering pump on a V8 car, and magically it was better. So basically, all it is it's the pressure, it's the amount of pressure that the pump puts out, and we can modify these pumps to put out the lower pressure, like the slant six cars, and make them feel a whole lot nicer on the road. Now that's all it is. It's just it's not that over boosted, real loose feeling steering. And if you're interested in how that happens, what a guy needs to do to make that happen, just stick around. I'll show you what I know. Now, you can do this on the car. It's actually not that difficult, but I'm pulling my engine. I'm replacing my engine with a different one. So I thought while I had this out, I would do this mod and just see if I could maybe help anybody else out there and show them exactly what I done and how I done it. Right back underneath here is the little pressure regulating deal. And let me just pull this apart and I'll show you how it works. So now, it's been a while since I done this, but, 5/8, not 9/16. 5/8 flat wrench. This is the pressure hose, in case anybody's wondering about that kind of thing. The piece that you remove is definitely on the pressure hose. It's not bad for tight, but obviously this hasn't been apart. Oh, the big nut's coming too, so let's see what we're gonna end up with here other than a big friggin' mess. Here we go. So that popped out. And I think what I'm going to do is turn this over and let the fluid drain out of here. The pump had been leaking so bad I actually didn't think there would be much fluid at all left in this thing, but obviously, knowing me, I probably filled it up just before I parked the frickin' car or something brilliant like that. Fortunately, my mess is contained in this nice little plastic tub, or at least so far it is. I'm just going to take these two pieces apart because they're going to have to come apart eventually anyway, so I might as well do it now. So now behind this fitting, got a little flat screw head in there. And this is where the magic happens. This right here is what you adjust your pressure with. Now, I'm really good at needing things and not having them, and having them and not being able to find them. So I got to get this nut off of here. And I don't have my soft jaws for my vise. I cannot find them anywhere. So all I did is I just wrapped that little piece of aluminum around there and Big thing is this area right here, that's like a kind of a pistony sort of sealing ass surface. You don't want to mar that up, but I've got to get this nut. I've got to get this nut off there. So let's give this a whirl. Really hope I don't F this up. Ah, excellent. And I didn't even bugger nothing up. Now, the first time I read or heard anything about this modification was an old Mopar Action magazine article named Pump It Down Easy. And there's all sorts of information on that if you Google that, and it'll bring you up with the original magazine article and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 60 thou shim, because that's honestly, that's what they suggested, and I've had super good success with just adding 60 thou and being done with it on every one of these I've ever done. So that's where we're going to go. But the next question, I guess, is where do you find the shims? Now, I have seen where you can buy a kit, but the kits are, I don't know, like 25 or 35 bucks or whatever like that. And I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's not expensive or anything like that. But something that I've had success with is using copper brake washers. So that's what I do. And let me show you how that works. I guess also one thing I forgot, if you've got some spare power steering pumps, each one of them has got shims in it. If you want to, you can steal the shims out of one to put additional shims in another. That's a good place to do it too. So what I ended up doing is my original spring pack or shim pack was right on 60 thou with these three. So I'm going to leave out the big one, use two of my coppers, and add the two skinny shims back in, and it comes to just over 120 thou. Now, copper being copper, it may compress just a little wee bit, but honestly, that's going to be close enough to get me to where I need to be. Now, I measured this at 1265, so I'm sure that'll be mint as far as this goes. So I'll just put this back together. And there we have the increased shim pack, and with the release pressure on that spring in there, that's gonna reduce my line pressure and improve my steering feel a whole bunch. Now, I kind of forgot about this until I dumped it out to try and save myself some mess, which I really didn't do because I got freaking power steering fluid all over my bench. But this spring is, it goes in first, down in there. And now remember this is the piece we modified with this flathead screw end out. Drop this down in there on top of that spring. You feel that the spring pushes it out. Then this piece, this is where that high pressure hose actually screwed into. So this piece is going to go down in here, and it's going to screw on right here and hold the whole shitaroo in place. Takes a lot longer to tighten up than a guy might think. Just going to grab a wrench and I'm going to snug that up. Since I actually crimped that in the vise to get it apart, I don't even know what size that wrench is. So this big boy right here is a 1-inch wrench, and basically we're back together. We're good to go. If it weren't for the fact that I still have to take this, replace this engine, I could just put that back together and the improvement would be there. I am gonna clean this box and these brackets up and whatnot and make it look a little bit nicer. Hopefully after this motor change won't be embarrassed to show people under the hood of my car. So that's it. It's a pretty simple, quick and dirty thing to do. Like I say, it it might almost even be easier to do in the car, other than the fact that you're in some kind of tight quarters. The only real thing that was a deal was just loosening those fittings was a bit of a pain in the ass with that pump on the bench, but it wasn't like it was a big deal. Anyway, hope you got something out of that. Hope that was interesting to you. If I'll when I get everything back together, I'll just report out quick on what it did to change my steering feel. But like I say, I've done this before, and it's always worked out really well for me. So I'm 100% confident it's going to work out again. Thanks for watching.